Consider this your trigger warning. The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
Well, everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. I tell you what day is it? It's the Free-4-All Friday. And here we go. I want to start off with a good one, folks. And it is, well, Free-for-All Friday. It's your show. We're going to, we're going to shotgun blast out there. I'm going to do some stuff I want to talk about, then we'll go right to you. It won't be a 30-minute monologue. It'll be me, you. And I've got the whole show loaded. So get your questions down below. Get them in right now to Jolene. And, folks, if you want to be here on Free-for-All Friday, it's up to you. It's not a hard thing to do. It's, well, here's the directions. $2 a month, and you can join us here live every single day. We're getting a lot of people signing up. I'm excited about that. We're growing again. And, folks, when you come here every day and bring your thoughts, even if you only show up one day a week, you know, some people are here every day, and I love it, and some people show up every couple of days or once a week, and it's fine. It's great. We love the fact that you can come here anytime and talk, anytime you want. And we have a lot to talk about. So what is this? What am I going to start with right out the gate? Well, I'm going to go with this. It's probably nothing big. It's not a big deal. It's probably just a coincidence. But Zuckerberg, his Threads, which, by the way, is a direct mirror copy, I guess, or as close as you can get to Twitter that you can get. In fact, Elon Musk has filed a lawsuit and asked for an injunction because Zuckerberg of Facebook, his Threads app is so close to Twitter. Well, the reason is because he borrowed the technology and the applications from Twitter. He's brought over the people Elon Musk fired to run his Threads app, trying to get a bigger chunk. Now, if you go to Threads, that's what it's called, and look at their symbol. Their symbol is composed of 3 images placed on top of each other. 6, 6, 6. It is just unbelievable that they would go and do that. Really? They're going to do a 666? I wonder where that came from. I wonder what it could be. I wonder what inspired Zuckerberg.
Could it be Satan?
Could it be Satan? Well, it could be, you know, how idiotic do they need to be? Just like Comet Ping Pong and Mambla, that would be the Man and Boy Love Association, and the fruitcakes everywhere, their symbol of lusting after children, pedophilia, is incorporated into so many things. They're symbols. Now, folks, I understand symbology and symbols are a way to communicate a message. It's just, should your symbol have 666 in it? Or is that an idea that was prompted by, I don't know.
Could it be Satan?
Oh, these people, they make it easy for us to see them now. Or is it this, you and I are so awake, so aware, and we've caught up with what's going on that we see what they're doing. We see what they're doing. It's obvious to us now. It's obvious to us now. Now let's look at this. Let's look at this. Representative Lauren Boebert, Republican out of Colorado. She says the House Oversight Committee is investigating much more than White House cocaine. And so she tweeted, Devin Archer and other Biden business associates will be coming to the House Oversight Committee to be deposed. We're going to expose every shady Biden business deal that we can possibly find out about. It seems as though the list just never ends. But the real question I ask, now we're done with the Boebert quote. The question I ask is, but the real question is, when will the impeachment begin? For realsies. Why do we need more committees, more testimony? We have the evidence. Somebody needs to come out and say it. Somebody needs to come out and tell the truth. And someone needs to call out, literally get it done. Right? They need to do this. Impeach and start it. It's too much for me. It is becoming too much. Too much. Even MSNBC, folks, even MSNBC, which is full of left-wing socialist morons, as we've documented well here, even they at MSNBC are questioning the Biden White House BS cocaine narrative, story, bullshit. And their quote is saying it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that the Secret Service can't figure out who's bringing cocaine to the White House. And another news agency even went so far as to try and say it's Kamala Harris's cocaine, trying to blame someone else. I mean, really, you're going to take the Vice President of the United States of America and throw them under the bus? Now, someone in the Secret Service, someone in the White House leaked the cocaine story, and they leaked it so well with such credibility that the Secret Service had to admit it. They had to say it. They had to come out and say the things that need to be said. And that's what I keep saying to you, is free speech is about saying what needs to be said, criticizing those in authority. We need to say it, folks. Say it. Say it. Say it.
Well, I didn't know you wanted to get involved with the discussion, Mr. Helper. But since you want to help, maybe you can help me, okay? You remember that thing we had about 30 years ago called that Korean conflict? Yeah, where we failed to achieve victory. How come we didn't cross the 38th parallel and push those rice eaters back to the Great Wall of China and take the first brick and nuke them back into the fucking Stone Age River? How come? Tell me why? Say it! Say it!
All right, I'll say it. Because Truman was too much of a pussy wimp to let MacArthur go in there and blow out those commie bastards.
Good answer.
We need to say it. It needs to be said. And then take action, right? If we have a prep to action, right? Let's see, food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. If you're going to have a plan, if you're going to get into physical shape, improve your health, get ready, pay attention. Don't you think we need to make sure our politicians do the same thing and take action? Oh, yeah, we do. So keep doing what you do, folks. It's having an effect. It's having an effect. In Congress, they're trying, but there needs to be more of a groundswell. The only way it's going to happen is if you get mad. Remember when we used to rely on the mainstream media? This is, folk, a long fucking time ago. 40 years ago, 45 years ago, 50 years ago when I was a kid, the media would get pissed off. The media would tell the people about it. Yeah. The media would do those things. Why? The media did it to get us riled up. So we would call our congressmen and they would tell them, demand them to take action. We need to stop being apathetic and call our congresspeople, call our senators and tell them it's time for action. No more talking. No more Mr. Nice John. Whatever your name is, you're allowed to use your own name. But get this, folks. We called using this approach months ago, right? Wayne Root, who is a political commentator, political scientist, political whatever, spokesman, he has come out and said, hey, Mr. Trump, President Trump, this time we are to have one rule. No more Mr. Nice Guy, no mercy. That's exactly what we've been saying. No more Mr. Nice John. No more Mr. Nice American. No more pushovers. It's time to take action. Real political action. What do you want to talk about, folks? It is the Free-for-All Friday. What is on your mind? What topics yanked your beard, pulled your hair, slapped you in the face? What happened with you this week that got you so pissed off? And you should be pissed off at what's happening out there. Bring it to everyone's attention here and get blood boiling. I mean, I come here just full of energy, vitality, ready to fight. We need to do that, folks. We need to wake up and get others to wake up. That's why I say on YouTube, share that internet address. And come this Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to do the Free-for-All Sunday, which we call Sunday Night Live. That is, everyone can join us live. And we'll talk about anything you want to talk about. And the objective is to wake people up, to bring them on board live and let them see and hear what we're talking about. No more Mr. Nice John. No more Mr. Nice pushover American. All right, Jolene, let's do something from the audience, from you guys. What do you want to talk about? Let's going to start with name redacted. He says, Uncle Joe freaking admits some of his crimes and nothing happens. Now, if you were at your job, and let's just say you work with 100 employees, and someone was doing something so outrageous, so against the rules, what would you do? Well, you've got a couple of choices. You can go talk to the person yourself, or you go to the supervisor and say, that needs to be fixed. That is way wrong. And if you don't do anything, if you don't say a word to the person, they don't care. They're like, hey, man, I'm getting away with this shit. I'm going to keep doing it. And if you don't say anything to the supervisor, he may not know. Right? In fact, if the supervisor's like, I don't want to deal with this shit, and if nobody says nothing to me, then I ain't going to deal with this shit. I've got enough to do already. I get that. Well, guess what? When employees start complaining to the supervisor about another employee's behavior, if that supervisor doesn't do something, it's their ass. That is our role, is to tell the supervisor, right? The House of Representatives, the U.S. Senate, get off your dead asses and start doing something. No more committees, no more hearings, no more testimony, real action. I don't want to censure Adam shit his pants shift. I want him terminated. I want him removed. I want him expelled from Congress for ethics violations, for lying to the American people, for causing nothing but damage to the office of the President of the United States over his lies. Uncle freaking Joe has admitted some of his crimes. That's right. We don't know the extent of all of his crimes, but we know that he had box after box after box after box of secret documents hidden in plain sight. He even posted a fucking picture of him and his Corvette, and behind the Corvette, boxes of secret documents. Oh, yeah, folks, I'm ready for it. Bring it on. Bring it on. I'm telling you, folks, a New York City Council staffer, that is to say, someone who works for the city of New York, urged Black Lives Matter protesters, which also includes Antifa members, urged them to, quote, throw more bottles at cops, torch more vans during the St. George Floyd days of summer. You know, the summer of love. Well, this person's name is Ember Ullum. And she did this. She told BLM protesters, the police, more violence. She tweeted back in May of 2020. She says, quote, and this is a quote of her tweet, I would like it on the record that I would like you all to throw more bottles at cops and torch more vans. Now, her tweets have resurfaced, folks. And all government officials need to be scrutinized for encouraging violence against the police and against the people and against businesses and against public places and against us, the taxpayers. Government officials, folks, not only encouraged more violence in New York City, but around the country. They refused to prosecute felonious thugs, and they stopped police from doing their job, from protecting the people and protecting our property. They stopped the police. You're not allowed to arrest. And then when police did arrest, they let them go. And when they did arrest them and put them in jail, the judges let them go. We need to start with Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Mad Maxine Waters, and the others in Congress and in the state capitals for what they did in promoting violence. There should be mass arrests. There should be trials for malfeasance of office and inciting violence and mayhem, folks. And indeed, mayhem is a felony, a grand felony. Mayhem. It's not just a commercial on TV. Mayhem is a bad thing. And they promoted it. They incited it. They encouraged it, and they allowed it. I mean, since when does anyone get a pass for criminal behavior? Oh, wait a minute, Joe Biden. Right. But today we say, that was last year, so what difference does it make now? That was back in 2020, so what difference does it make now? Well, we can thank Hillary Clinton, folks. We can thank Hillary Clinton for that bit of wisdom. What difference does it make? It makes a huge difference. If I committed a crime yesterday, would I be arrested for it if the cops found out and knew it was me? Yeah, hell yeah. You just did it. Well, what if it was last week? Would the cops still need to come and get me because of the crime? And I'd say, hey, that was last week, man. What difference does it make now? They're going to say, well, it's just last week. What about last year? We're in 2020. If I robbed a bank, if I killed people, if I was an accessory to bank robbery and an accessory to murder, see where I'm going with this? From last year or 3 years ago or 5 years ago, I could be in trouble. In fact, there are people in jail who, folks, they have the DNA records and they're now matching that DNA to past murders because of evidence. And those people in jail from 10, 15, 20 years ago and more, they're having another trial. They're being tried for the murders of other people. Crime is a crime, folks, and the injury and effects are still being felt from the BLM and the Antifa violence that was committed. Prosecution needs to occur. Biden needs to be impeached. And folks, Fauci's fraud needs to be prosecuted by a military tribunal, at the very least for war crimes. Yeah, war, folks, war crimes. Yes, folks, there is a legal nexus there between Fauci and the military, between Fauci and our nation, our military's allies and enemies, and how it was militarily weaponized and how it was used. There's a nexus there. I wish and I hope it'll come out. I want to thank Mr. Skylight for making that happen, for bringing that information up. It's important, folks. It's important. Now, I know we've got some questions lined up with Jolene, but I want to continue. I'm feeling it today, folks. I'm fucking pissed. I am, right? Just say it. Well, in France, folks, the Muslim immigrants who have moved there, they're there for revenge. They're not there to make France a better place. They're not there to contribute. They view migration as, folks, recolonization. And a lot of them are saying, hey, this is revenge for French colonization and French colonialism. And so they had this clown talking shit. He says, we will colonize them for life until death, until the end of time. That's what these immigrants, folks, are thinking and saying. Now, when I called it a jihad yesterday, did I exaggerate? Did I call it or what? Yes, folks, the violence over in France is supported, though not openly organized by religious zealots who are hell-bent on the destruction of European nations. They don't have to come out and openly support it. They can pass it mouth to ear, folks. all the way down the street, from town to town, city to city. This is our chance, they're telling each other. We've got an excuse. Let's use our numbers. We have enough people. Let's get wild. Let's get crazy. Let's punish them, right, for life until their death, until the end of time. Why do you think the immigrants rape white women in Europe, folks? Why do you think they do that? Think about it. Why do they do it? Is it just because they're horny and they can't find a goat? No, because they're trying to impregnate women. That's what they want to do. And breed out the white people. Fact. Just say it. I'll fucking say it. I mean, these people over there, or those people over there, are about the same as the anti-American people here. These people here. Right? Americans are now pissed off because a radical socialist singer decided to change the lyrics of the national anthem in a race-baiting tirade of filth coming out of her mouth, right? This socialist, anti-American racist, folks, was invited to sing the national anthem. And she and the producers of that event took that opportunity to slander America, right? And insult every last one of us. Back to the beginning of our nation. Here's what she sang. Oh, say can you see by the blood in the streets that this place doesn't smile on your colored child, whose blood built this land with sweat in their hands, but will die in this place in your memory erased. Oh, say, does this truth hold any weight? This is not the land of the free, but the home of the slaves. Now, I sang that not exactly in line with the national anthem because I don't want to give it a cool sound. The blood in the streets. This country was built by the sweat in their hands, right? They want our memory erased. It's not the land of the free, but the home of the slaves. This is the sick socialist view that they have of this country, folks. They hate you. They hate me. They hate us. They hate our country. They don't care if you're black. If you love America, they hate you. Period. Period. Now, let's do this. Let's get to your questions. It is the Free-for-All Friday. What do you want to talk about? Get your questions down below, and Jolene will put one on the screen. And it is Chin Music stepping in. He says, tell Congress, brother, stop moving their jaws and start moving their pens. That's right. And he always quote unquote James Woods. He said it best, for the love of God, if you're not going to do something, just shut up. Exactly. Exactly, brother. It is time to stop just jaw jacking. Now, I appreciate Marge Taylor Greene introducing articles of impeachment against Merrick Garland, against Department of Homeland Security Mayorkas, against FBI Director Chris Wray. I appreciate that. I appreciate that several have introduced articles of impeachment against Biden, but they haven't been acted on. Right? Senator Ted Cruz came out and said, it's time. It's time. I want them to just say it. Say the words and then do it. Right? Otherwise, shut up. And I think that's why so many of them don't say anything, because they're not going to do anything, so they just shut up. They don't even want to put on the act. They don't even want to pretend. It's time to call them on their bluff, call them on their bullshit, folks. It's time for that. It really is. It's time to call them on their bullshit. You know, we talked about it in the morning. We talked about it in the morning, right? We called them out on their bullshit. Just like that person called out Mike Pence, former vice president under Trump. The person said, if it wasn't for your vote, we would not have Joe Biden in the White House. Well, yeah, that's it. That's the truth. That's a fact. He called him out. He said the words. He took the action this person did as an audience member and exposed Mike Pence at a campaign event. We need to call them out at every level. All right, enough of my shit. All right, it's your turn. Jolene, who do we want to put up next? It's name redacted. And it's, he says, here's one, John. I saw footage today on the vote for a new hepatitis B vax that's being approved. The vote was instantly done electronically. It was passed 100%, none opposed. They actually said it didn't need to be verbally verified. That is quite interesting. That's terribly awful, in fact. Now, I understand, can we put part 1 up again? They need to vote for a new hepatitis B vax being approved. Is it approved for use in the public, or is it approved for further testing? Now, there's a subtle difference, an important one, but I want to be, honest with the audience and honest with everyone. I think they should be testing any supposed drugs. Test them, find out. Unless you're going to use something where it could be used as a weaponized agent. So mRNA, I do not believe, folks, is good for anyone. I think it's already been tested enough to understand that it can be weaponized. And by weaponized, it can be used to hurt, harm, or carry an agenda out, right? So kind of like the HPV vax, I think, is bullshit giving that to kids, because just maybe someday it just might help them, maybe someday. Oh, it's just they're just wanting to jack everyone up and inject them with this shit. That's weaponizing everything. We have big trouble, folks. Big trouble. Now, let's just have some fun. Let's do this. Right? We just brought up a hepatitis B vax, name redacted did. Right? We just brought that up. Well, how about this? Let's talk about how beneficial these things are. That's right, folks. Back to the sports world and the Jim Jones juice, which is brought to you by Pfizer. Yeah, okay, a 17-year-old. Folks, a 17-year-old. When I was 17, I was bulletproof. You could throw me from a moving car. You could drop me from a cliff into a lake. You could beat the ever-loving shit out of me, and the next day I'd be up and at 'em and having fun. Bulletproof. But now, today, the youths of America are a little different. A 17-year-old super athlete. That's right, a super athlete. He was a football player from New York. And I saw a picture of this guy at 17 years old, folks. 17 years old. I just clicked over to the news story. This guy, this young man has a beard. 17-year-old. He is a macho, robust, testosterone-driven young man. 17, has a beard. He's now on life support. Life support. He plays for and is a student at Newfield High School in New York. He's in a coma. He's on life support because on the field he had a cardiac event. And he had no known health, heart issues, folks. Take a wild guess. Kids, children, young adults, super athletes did not have to worry about myocarditis, pericarditis, heart attack, inflamed heart, enlarged heart, cardiopulmonary problems, pulmonary problems, I mean, name it. Aneurysms, clots, strokes, mini strokes, neurological, neuromuscular issues, problems. But now we do, folks. Because some idiot somewhere pushed a button and said, yeah, let's do it. There was a the effort, Operation Warp Speed, to get this done. President Trump was lied to and he fell for it. Joe and the Democrats wouldn't take the Jim Jones juice back then. Oh, fuck, no, we ain't doing that. As soon as we got Biden in office, it's everyone's going to take the Jim Jones juice. Fuck you guys. Everyone has to take it. We're going to make it mandatory in America. They tried. They couldn't. It was a lie. It was a sham. It was a scam all along, and they knew it. They knew it. They knew it. They did it on purpose. They lied to everyone. They pressured everyone. They used something which is illegal and is fraud. It's called duress, threats. We're going to take away stuff. We're going to hurt you. People on the street, these scumbag Democrats were saying, you can't come to the store, you can't go to the movies, you can't go to the parks, you can't go to the beaches, you can't do nothing, you can't leave your house, you've got no rights anymore because you didn't take the Jim Jones juice. They were pushing for it, folks. They would attack you if you didn't wear a mask during the lockdown. They'd stare at you and I'd stare back at them. You want some of this, right? Out of your fucking minds. Yeah, I'm with you. Name redacted. I'm pissed off about all these things they want to inject you with. Inject you, your kids, your grandkids, everyone. Look out. Folks, I get fucking hot and pissed off. I haven't forgot about the Jim Jones juice. I haven't forgot about Fauci. I haven't forgot about the lockdowns. I haven't forgot about Congress, the states, every little city. I haven't forgot a bit of it. You give me a chance, folks. If I get the opportunity, if I have the authority, they would be held accountable, seriously. All right, let's do this. Let's do another one. Jolene, who do we want to put up next? Name redacted says, on the breeding out, the Muslims supposedly average 5 children. European descent, European have 0.5. Meaning every other couple has 1 child, which means there is a population reduction issue amongst white native Europeans. That's right. Should we call Europeans indigent people, natives? Native Europeans are being bred out. They're being attacked by foreign invaders who are colonizing Europe. That's right, indigent people. The white indigent human being is being bred out. They're being taxed so badly. They're being pressured by the government and its control so badly in Europe. It is so expensive to live and pay for life that people don't want to have kids because they can't afford them. So they're being bred out. While the persons of color who are being imported intentionally into Europe, the persons of color who are going to Europe to colonize it, they're having 5 children on average. Supposedly, that's a good number, name redacted. Supposedly 5 children. So they're being outbred 10-to-1 in Europe. 10-to-1 in Europe. What do you think? Which one of these topics that we brought up so far matters to you? Right? Are you ready for it? Are you ready for what's coming? I've got some good stuff, folks, some huge stuff with Zelensky, with Biden. And if you think the migrant population in Europe is bad, I don't know if we talked about this a whole lot. In fact, I don't remember talking about it with you. In Minnesota, in Minneapolis, Somali teens, that's right, Somali immigrants. Somalis, you mean like Ilhan Omar, who is so ill she married her brother? A sick, twisted broad. Somali teens, folks, were shooting fireworks at cops. on the 4th of July? You think it was because they love America and the Declaration of Independence? Or do you think they just love violence? Love violence. All right, Jolene, what do we want to talk about? Who is up next? It is Kelby RVA. She says, God is keeping track of everything. Be assured they will either repent or pay. Tell you what, there is a scoreboard. I do believe in it. I do understand it. I have faith that everyone gets theirs. Everyone gets theirs. I think we should all try and be better people, right? We should. There's a lot of people out here, folks, who think they shouldn't have to be good. That, in fact, because they've had it so rough, that they should be able to hurt other people. That's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing. I mean, the good America has done for the world is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And what do we get for it? That's right. We get crapped on. It's exactly what we get. Okay, well, let us continue. Yeah, there's a scoreboard, you know, and nobody's perfect. Nobody's without sin. Nobody, right? I get it. But by golly, you know, you should be a better person. These people that we're seeing are becoming worse and worse and worse. Let me give an example from a socialist Marxist scumbag. Ben and Jerry, the ice cream geeks. That's right, Ben and Jerry, the hippie ice cream geeks, the leftist, socialist, Marxist ice cream jackasses, have made millions of dollars off of hardworking Americans who want a delicious snack, ice cream. Well, this son of a bitch burned a copy of the Bill of Rights outside the Department of Justice. Ask yourself, why does he, Ben Cohen, does he sound like he is a Native American? What tribe is he from? Ben Cohen. Ask yourself why he thinks the way he does. Why he wants to give up his own rights. Does he want to give up his rights, or does he think he's special? Folks, the Bill of Rights are the first 10 amendments of the Constitution that the founding fathers, that's right, the patriarchy, put in there to protect everyone. Your right to speak, your right to think, your right to associate with others, your right to worship as you wish. I don't think socialist, Marxist, communist, fascist scumbags, anyone that subscribes to, practices, or tries putting into action political principles that align with those groups, they ought not to be able to speak and spread their filth and their lies. Socialism, folks, killed over 100 million people in the last 100 years. How many people has freedom killed? How many people has the Bill of Rights killed? Why would Ben Cohen, why would he want to give up his own rights? Well, see, he really doesn't. But he supports their angry, violent, anti-American revolution, folks. It's the Free-for-All Friday. What do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? I tell you what, I've got something that'll just frost your cake. Now, I want to thank Orlando for bringing this to my attention. It was covered, folks, by MSN.com. Now, their headline was, Judge Orders Arrest of Gun Training Center Owner in Vermont. Right? Now, here's the upshot of this story. Or maybe we could say it's the downshot. It's a shot across the bow. Because neighbors complained about guns on this guy's property being shot. His property, folks, is big enough to contain 30 football fields. Most people have enough room in their property to throw a football to another person, and they got to be careful it doesn't go into the other neighbor's yard. This guy had property that is big enough that you could put 30 football fields in it. It's that big. But people complained about guns on his property being fired. So the government decided to try to shut him down. They even tried to pass legislation, folks. You're going to love this legislation because I'm going to tell you all about it. And this came not from some right-wing wacko newspaper, some right-wing wacko website, some scuttlebutt coming around the conspiracy theory channels. This came from MSM.com. And it's in response to the Slate Ridge, Vermont. This is where this all happened, at this place called Slate Ridge in Vermont, right? So Philip Baruth, a Democrat, that's right, folks, a socialist Democrat, he introduced a bill in the Vermont legislature to ban paramilitary training centers in the state. The bill passed and was signed in May by the Republican governor, Phil Scott. Here it is, folks. Violators face up to 5 years in prison or a fine up to $50,000 or both, according to this law. It prohibits a person from teaching, training, or demonstrating to anyone else the use, application, or making of a firearm, explosive, or incendiary device capable of causing injury or death that will be used in or in furtherance of civil disorder. It also, folks, bans people from assembling with others. That means gathering together for training, instruction, or practice. So nobody in the state of Vermont can teach, train, or show someone how to use, that is, apply the skills necessary with a firearm, a gun, and that it bans people from assembling with others, gathering with others for training or instruction or practice. So essentially, they've tried stopping this guy from doing this, and he's refused. He's absolutely refused. An American citizen is absolutely refused on his private property to concede to the government. Now they're trying to go after him for a building code violation, because I don't know what buildings he has on there, but some building code violation. It's an excuse for stripping Americans of shooting, and calling it a crime to teach others basic Second Amendment information, self-defense, and defense of the state and the nation, and calling any such actions the exercise of the Second Amendment. They're calling it a paramilitary institution, and that it's illegal. Now, the unconstitutional action, folks, is absurd, but it's par for the course with these idiot traitors, which is being shown more and more to include Republicans. Republicans, right? Now, fine. This guy at this Slate Ridge gun place, he's an asshole because he's built a shed or two, or whatever he's built that's violated the building code. People shoot there, so the people around him complain. Oh, folks, the Karens are everywhere, even in Vermont. They complain, right? But passing laws to violate the rights of all, which are guaranteed, folks, by the very document that created the U.S. national government and is the model for state governments, it's both critically and tragically illogical. But that's the mentality of these morons. The same Constitution and Bill of Rights apply to the governments that then turn around and come and try and take your Constitution and Bill of Rights and shit on it. Or, as Ben Cohen of Ben and Jerry's Ice Cream, they burn it. Oh, we're going to have some trouble, folks. I sure hope you have your non-paramilitary Second Amendment rights in order. What is on these people's minds? What is in their brains that they think they can do whatever they want and just ignore the Constitution and violate our rights? All right, Jolene, who wants to step up next? Who has something to say? And it is Charles Gentry. He says, there are many things that tie me in knots, or would if I let it. Until the fight is in front of me, I can do nothing but prepare physically and mentally. True. Very, very true. But there's another piece of action you can do. That internet address right up there. You need to send it to everybody. I don't care if you know them or not. I don't care if they're family, friends, co-workers, or complete fucking strangers. They need to see and hear the truth. They need the facts. They do. They need to wake the hell up. People are waking up. They need to call their senators, their congressmen at the federal and the state level and tell them enough of this shit. Right? Apply the criminal law to the criminals in government. Now, Charles Gentry continues. I can do nothing but prepare physically and mentally. What really gets me at my core is the betrayal of our children's trust to be taught correctly. We as parents in general failed to teach them and failed to monitor the ones we trusted to teach in our stead. That's true. That's true. Right? We have failed to hold these people accountable. We were apathetic. We were fat and sassy as a culture. And these leftist scumbags have indoctrinated themselves and pushed themselves further and further and further and further and further to the left so that they're off the screen. Marxist, anti-American, anti-human. And they decided they're going to trash children. They're going to groom children for their sexual purposes. That's what they're all about. We failed to stop them, folks, because we failed to monitor them properly. And now we're having to fight back, and fight is what needs to be done. This is always the case, folks. People have to be roughly and sorely abused. The fact they've gone after children is both obscene and absurd and a complete abomination. Isn't it funny that Obama, the name of their leader, Abomination, it's no accidents, folks. It's no accidents. It's no accident. Right? Now, again, these same people want to trans your children. They want to turn your kids into a fruit salad that they get to love on. Right? That's right. But again, and I talked about this in the morning video, the Zero Dark 30, that there is a LGBTQIA plus activist that says that conservative media reports about the Philadelphia mass murderer. Well, to talk about that, the reports is an act of violence. Now, of course, they want to call him a mass shooter. No, mass murderer. Now, some people can act on their mass murderer instincts and kill lots of people. Others only kill a few. As far as I'm concerned, they're all mass murderers because that's what they would like to do. The same way these teachers aren't just teachers. They're not just groomers. They're sexual deviants and they're pedophiles because of what they would do if they could get away with it. The same way they pushed minor attracted persons, MAPS. They're pedophiles, but they wanted to create a new name for them, a new identity, and say it's normal. It's just a psychological thing. It should be normalized because there's so many people that want that. Good God, these people are sick. They're perverted, folks. And you and I need to step up and take it back. Put them where they belong, folks, in a nut house. In a frickin' nut house. Okay, Jolene, where are we going next? Who has something to say? And it's name redacted. He says, I don't know about you all, but one of the reasons I'm here on The Prepared Mind is because I don't personally know anyone that gets it. How's that for the damn masses? And I know a lot of people. I tell you what, name redacted. I don't know where you live. I'm going to suspect you live in a city, a metropolis, at the very least a suburb, where you can both know a lot of people and you're going to have a high percentage of Democrats. And in today's world, most Republicans don't want to admit they're Republicans, especially if they're in a Democrat stronghold. They're worried that they're going to, have their business destroyed, or have their job ruined, or have their reputation smeared, or their children harassed, or their spouse harassed so badly that they leave the husband or leave the wife or alienate the children. That's what these leftist scumbags do. So I get it. I have seen people shirk and move away from others because, ooh, you said something Republican. And I like to stand up and go, here, here. I second that motion and support the person who said something and let everyone else know I'm not afraid. That is being an American. Say it, right? Just like the Sam Kinison joke I put up here, right? You get pissed off. You know the truth. You know the facts. It's time to say it. Let's just go and have a little fun with it, shall we?
Well, I didn't know you wanted to get involved with the discussion, Mr. Helper. But since you want to help, maybe you can help me, okay? You remember that thing we had about 30 years ago called that Korean conflict? Yeah, where we failed to achieve victory. How come we didn't cross the 38th parallel and push those rice eaters back to the Great Wall of China and take the Berkeley brick and nuke them back into the fucking Stone Age River? How come? Tell me why? Say it! Say it!
All right, I'll say it. Because Truman was too much of a pussy wimp to let MacArthur go in there and blow out those commie bastards.
Good answer.
That's how it ought to be, right? I mean, that's how it ought to be. I know Sam Kinison, right? He was a crazy dude, right? He was actually a preacher turned comedian. And boy, talking about an unusual cat. But the important thing is, right, he would get loud about things that he thought should be discussed. We need to get loud, folks. The left is loud. We need to be louder. There's more of us than them. There are. Now, we're coming to the end of it. I want to remind everyone, Sunday Night Live. Show up, support the channel, support what we do. And that is wake people up. You've got to support it. If you don't, I go away. If you don't show up, others go away. If we all show up and we get louder and we grow in number, guess what? That tells the wackos on the East Coast, on the West Coast, in DC, in Seattle. It tells all of them from the four corners and across the middle. It tells everyone, right? You're not going to beat us. You're not going to win. Get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Get it together. Get your plan together. Get in good shape. I'm going to go do some training this weekend. Right? Aquatic Adventures channel is being built right now in the background, and it's going to come out. And you're going to see some of the wild, crazy stuff that we do. Not all of it. Got to protect the names of those who are innocent and those who don't want to appear on camera. But get in shape as you get in shape up here and get prepared for what's coming out there. And action is coming, folks. We're all going to get drug into it, like it or not, right? In fact, right? The January 6th prisoners. Once again, folks, I try and put myself in their situation. I've been arrested by federal agents. I've been taken to Washington, D.C. I'm thrown in a pile of shit gulag jail cell where the sewer backs up, where it's filthy, where you're denied basic human necessities, locked in solitary confinement for no offense. And you're treated like, well, less than human. Let's just put it that way. You're abused psychologically. You're abused so badly psychologically that it falls into the category of torture, according to the United Nations and their rules. You're denied health care. You're denied legal service. You're denied a trial. You're denied every single human right, including life. People have had their eyeballs gouged out, busted out of their skulls. When they're in there, and they've been in there for years now. Folks, if Trump is reelected, his first move better be to pardon these people, all of them. pardon their families and apologize to their families, including those who confessed and said they did something wrong. They should be publicly apologized to for having done nothing, and allow them to speak on a national stage so that anyone that wants to watch and listen may, and hear their stories and what they said happened to them. And every single one of these policemen and federal agents out there, they need to be arrested and they need to be tried quickly. None of this 6 months and 1 year later. I'm talking about a quick and speedy and public trial with a jury of their peers, the American people. And they need to be tried, folks. There's a lot that Trump needs to do if he's going to be president. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Pardon those who need to be pardoned. Quit this favoritism bullshit and playing this fucking game. I mean, Mike Pence, just absolute filth. Sick of these people, folks. These sellout rhino Republicans who pretend like they're going to win back the favor of the American people with their diplomacy, right? It's bullshit. Right? It's done. Right? Tucker Carlson, folks, revealed to the world in his interview that the chief of police in Washington, D.C. told him that the January 6th crowd was, quote, filled with federal agents. The American taxpayer, folks, and responsible, law-abiding citizens have lost all respect for the law at the federal level. They've lost respect for the government at the federal level, and most states have also lost any respect they had from their bosses, the people, capital P, the people, us. As a business owner, when an employer considers an employee an unsalvageable worker, they're fired. Well, why can't we fire them? Why not? It's because the servants, folks, government employees, are acting like they're our masters. The loudest among them even call us slavers. Slavers, right? Like Cory Bush, I covered that. Cory Bush, the socialist idiot Democrat. While they attempt, folks, after they call us the slavers, then they attempt to enslave us, the people, capital P, the people. When is enough enough? We're getting closer by the day, right? I've been asked for years, when's it coming, John? When's it going to happen? I'll get ready in time for that. I've been ready this whole fucking time. And I know a lot of you have as well. But if you're not ready, if you're not prepared, if you don't have several months worth of food, if you don't have a way to purify, cleanse, filter water so it's drinkable, you better figure it out. Go to thepreparedmind.club. We've got the stuff you need there. Right? We're getting closer by the day. Right now in America, there's zero respect for the President of the United States, the Vice President, the Speaker of the House, who's supposed to be a Republican, Congress, the FBI, the Attorney General himself, the Department of Justice, the Secret Service, the NSA, CIA, IRS, and all the rest of the World Economic Forum stooge bureaucrats. This loss of respect, folks, will be followed by a loud rejection. Right now, we have no respect for them because they can't even find who said a bag of cocaine in the White House. We've lost respect for them because they won't arrest a nasty, filthy scumbag of a criminal. Which Biden am I talking about? Take your pick. Right? We've lost respect for all of these people, and there's going to be a very loud rejection coming from all of us. Not just preppers, not just veterans, not just patriots, all of America. And it's going to be followed by a declaration of freedom from oppression and lawless government. The people are tired of it. Why is it that the Bidens can get away with literally, folks, screwing over and stealing millions and billions and admitting to their crimes, openly admitting to it? There's going to be a declaration of freedom. Maybe we should say that what the left-wing protesters say, right? Become ungovernable, right? That's their thing. Become ungovernable. In other words, violate the law however you want. Well, I imagine if we did that, I wonder what the powers that be would do. Oh, I know they would try and arrest us immediately. They would try and arrest us immediately. When they protested against all the bullshit lockdowns and crap in California at the state capitol, what did California do? They sent out their most violent California Highway Patrol assholes to threaten the people. That's right, threaten the people. There's way more of us than them. We have way more bullets than them. We have way more guns than them. And I'm proud to say that as Americans, we should and we do. And the government knows it. And every single law enforcement officer I have ever talked to knows that we, the people, are the bosses, and that ultimately we outnumber them, and that they will run for the fucking hills the moment things go south because they fear for their lives, because they know that the people have had it with this bullshit. Now, I would love to say that we all respect law enforcement and that we should respect law enforcement, but we've all seen how they failed at every level, at a local level, at a state level, at a federal level. Look at the FBI. The same problem that plagues them plagues the LAPD and the Chicago PD and the NYPD and the Dallas PD and name the city. And so they lose the respect of the Democrats and they lose the respect of the Republicans. Wild times. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. I'll see you Sunday Night Live, 6 p.m. I'll send out the messages. I'll send them out, and I'm going to leave this with you, folks. I'm going to leave this with you.
Could it be?